Hello, and welcome to Connecting Hope. In today's episode, I will be sitting down with Denise Wesley of the MDHS Division of Child Support Enforcement. We will be talking about what child support is, the function it plays in administering the programs and supporting the children of Mississippi. We hope that today's conversation will inform you and enlighten you as to how child support works and how it encourages the support of both parents in the life of a child. Welcome, Denise, to Connecting Hope. First, let's introduce yourself and tell us what role you play here at the Mississippi Department of Human Services.
Thank you, Mark. I am the director of the Child Support Enforcement Division here at the Mississippi Department of Human Services, and I essentially oversee the child support operations in the state.
So let's go right into it. What is child support enforcement? And a little bit to that, what is it and what is it not?
Okay. Well, child support enforcement is a government program that at its heart is designed to make sure that children are supported by both parents because the reality of the situation for many children is that their parents are not together for whatever reason. Could be begin in marriage, in divorce, or perhaps never married at all. But regardless of the situation that the children are in, it's a government program designed to make sure that that the children are supported. What it is not is a program that is one-sided and against fathers. That's what it is not. I think that in some circles there's a reputation for that, but the fact of the matter is that the main point of interest and focal point of the program is the well-being of the children.
So one of the things we really want to do with Connecting Hope is go right to what you mentioned, what it is and what it's not. What are the facts? What are the truthful components? Maybe breaking down some of the stigmas that are around some of the programs, especially child support, but also to explain there's a greater benefit, and society has needs, and children. Denise, I've known you for I guess now about a year and a half, and your love for supporting family and the family structure, but really the passion for making sure children are cared for, that goes to the heart really of what child support is. It's in the first name, as we were joking before we started.
Right.
But
support,
and it's finding those elements for us to make sure that children are cared for, no matter what that home environment is, whether it's two-parent, single-parent, living with grandparents, whatever that core family structure where the child is, that they're able to connect and be supported and thrive. So let's talk a little bit about how child support not only helps financially, but it also may bring some other structures to support the child emotionally and mentally.
Right. Well, interestingly, there has been a survey conducted about attitudes towards child support, and some of those attitudes are negative, such as it can be weaponized, which is not the intent of the program,
Yes.
And that it can be seen and it can seem unfair. However, in that same survey, the responses indicated that what the respondents liked about child support is that it's actually decided by a neutral party that's a judge. And so I think what the respondents had to admit is that by making it part of a judicial process, there's actually fairness built into it. It provides stability. The rules are available for all. It must be conducted and operated in accordance with both federal and state laws and regulations. And so in that sense, it's very predictable. And so this program is able to come into situations, family situations that are perhaps not predictable, and provide a process that is predictable. And what we are hoping to do is to do an even better job of educating people about the system, because I think where the frustration comes in for certain people is if they don't understand the system, then they're just sort of caught up in it. And we want to do a better job of educating people about what's out there.
So let's essentially go, what is child support? Let's start at what is that process? It's not arbitrary.
No.
I love that you highlighted that it's not arbitrary. It's kind of some concrete, it's guided by some federal statutes,
That's
it's guided
right.
by state statutes, it's guided by some legal standards that are out there as well.
That's right.
And so let's talk about that, what it might look like, whether someone is coming to MDHS. It's part of some of our benefit eligibility. It is
Right.
built into some of that. But whether they're coming to MDHS child support for that benefit eligibility or simply to help us enforce child support and support that child. Again, going back to those first two names, child support, what would that process look like?
So there are different ways that people can enter into the child support program. A custodial parent, and you may hear me use the term CP, that's for a custodial parent. That's the parent that the child stays with. And then there's the non-custodial parent. If you hear me say NCP, that's what I'm referring to. That's the parent that the child does not stay with, and that is the parent that pays the child support. And so there are some government assistance programs where if you apply for government assistance, they will require you to sign up for child support. If that happens, then come to the child support office and you can fill out an application, or you can send in an application online. Actually, now that I think about it, if it's referred from another program, then we get the referral. But we still have to get more information from you. So at some point, we're going to talk to you. We're going to take information about the child's other parent. We're going to take information about the income that the other parent has available to pay towards child support. And that, by the way, is one of the ways in which the child support program is predictable. It's based on a percentage of income. And so we'll take that information down. We also take information about whether or not family violence may be an issue in the case. And if it is, then we'll mark the case for that, and we'll try to take special steps at different points in the case to make sure that the children and parent who may be suffering from the family violence is protected. And so we'll do that in case intake. After that, we do try to reach out to the non-custodial parent to see if perhaps the child support arrangement can be made by agreement. That is an option. If there are questions related to paternity, DNA testing is available if it has not been already affirmed in other ways, such as a child born in marriage, or if the father signs the birth certificate, even if they're not married, that establishes paternity there at birth. But so we can provide that genetic testing. And
let's stop right there.
Yeah.
That's at no expense to the petitioner, correct? Or minimal expense.
It's at minimal expense if you turn out to be the father. If it turns out that you're not the father, then you don't have to pay for it. So
a good
yeah.
clarification there, because again, you talked about child support being redemptive. We don't want it to be punitive. We want to be supportive of the child and really focus on them.
Yeah, we want to just make sure, like I said, that the child receives support from both parents, and if there's a need to verify parenthood, then that's included in the process. Now, Mississippi is a judicial state when it comes to the child support orders, so if you agree, if you don't agree, either way, the judge is going to have to sign off on it. And so by it being a judicial process, you have access to judicial protections such as notice. The non-custodial parent has to be served unless that right is waived. And then the judge does, hear and review the case and decide upon the child support amount. I want to say here, it's important to show up. If you are a non-custodial parent and you get the notice of the child support hearing, it's very important to show up, because if you are served and you don't show up, the decision regarding child support can be made in your absence. Maybe people do not understand that. I have heard of a situation where someone claimed to receive a phone call and say that he was told he didn't have to show up. No, you need to show up. All right. So I definitely want to say that unless you sign an agreement where you have already agreed to the child support amount and it just needs a judge to sign off on it, if you receive a notice, then you want to show up.
That's an important piece that from the very beginning, from the front side of this, the non-custodial parent is afforded a voice.
Right.
And an opportunity to defend themselves or have a say in that, present facts as to whether certain types of income pieces could be considered or not for child support enforcement.
That's right. And really, it's important for the non-custodial parent to stay involved and in relationship, if you will, with the Department of Human Services. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is the amount of child support that you owe is dictated by the child support order. But let's say that child support order that's based on a percentage of your income, let's say you get a new job and you don't make as much money. That is not, that order is going to continue to be enforced at that rate unless you bring it to the court's attention that, hey, I don't make as much money as I used to. And what we have available on our MDHS website is you can request a review of your case to have that child support order modified. And this is where, as I said earlier, education about the process is important. It's important for people to know that when circumstances change, we have some guidelines and we can review your request as to whether or not the child support order should change. Also, things that may change, maybe something happens and you were the non-custodial parent and now you're the custodial parent. Well, you need to let the court know so that order can be changed because you won't be paying child support for the time period during which you are the custodial parent, but the court has to be aware of that. If the court is not aware of that, that order just marches on and the obligation marches on too until there is notice of what happened. So therein again, child support, because it's supporting children as children grow, this tends to be longitudinal. So you can start with one court hearing depending on the age of the child, and that order can be in place for 21 years. And so it can be quite a long haul, but it is a predictable and stable long haul if you know the structure of the program.
There seems to be several relational factors that come in here. Number one, again, going back to the purpose, is to have the custodial and non-custodial parent involved in relationship in supporting the well-being of their child.
Right.
That circumstance, I'd like that you highlight that point because many people may be afraid that to come back and petition the court if circumstances have changed. And you brought that up, custodial parent, who has the child? Our attorneys will take care of helping petition the court to change that order. Or we'll work with that non-custodial parent's attorneys to make sure that order is adjusted or taken and considered.
That's right, Mark. Depending on the circumstances, there are some circumstances in which the agency initiates a review for modification, and then there are other circumstances where the non-custodial parent will have to let us know that it needs modification. And if you call the child support hotline, they'll let you know if this is a case where due to policy, you would have to get your own attorney or file the paperwork in such a way that you file the action, or if it's an instance in which we can do it. We are required by regulation to review every case every 3 years for modification, and that's just the agency doing it on its own. But where problems can enter, or rather, maybe the better way to say it is some inaccuracies can enter into the program, is if a non-custodial parent does not keep the agency informed of their current employment, or does not keep us informed of his or her current address. Because our responsibility to provide notice is based upon the means of notice that you provide to us. So if we aren't provided an up-to-date valid address or an up-to-date valid employer, we're only held accountable to the information that you provide. So that's that relationship part. You don't have to be in the child support office every other month. You don't have to do that, but if your circumstance changes, your address changes, your job changes, you want to let the agency know. And like I said, we have means to do that online on the website, and you're also welcome to come walk into the child support office as well.
And we've got child support offices across the state.
Yes.
And those are all on our website to see those. But again, on our website, your team is doing good work to try to automate many of those ways. One thing we are working on is child support calculator.
That's right.
We're hoping to get that there because, again, we want it to be up front. But going back to that relationship, we want to have that conversation with custodial parents, with non-custodial parents. Circumstances change. That means that we need to consider the betterment of the child's circumstances. That's but right. Also, if you lose your job, that's another thing. You mentioned you may take another job or your income decreases, or you take another job and your income increases.
Right.
But an order is dropped down. Okay,
right.
So you said it's a judicial state. Order comes down, the judge signs off on it. There's a piece at which the agency begins the collection of those
That's
funds.
Right.
It really works through several ways, and we'll talk about those here in a moment. But if those circumstances change, job market can be unstable at times.
Right.
And we don't want child support to be punitive. We want it to be, again, supportive. So what happens if a non-custodial parent's circumstances with a job, they lose their job? What do they need to do specifically?
Okay, again, communication is key. It is helpful to think of the child support process as both parents needing to have some sort of relationship with the agency, and that's where you keep us abreast of what is going on. Because child support responsibilities are dictated, as far as payment is concerned, by a court order. If you lose your job and you don't tell anybody, that child support obligation still goes forward. And so sometimes what happens is that can be a way where arrearage is accrued. And so in order to avoid that, you want to let the agency know and find out whether or not this is a situation where maybe if there's a disability involved, there's certain avenues of relief. It depends really on whether or not the job loss is a permanent situation or if it's temporary. If it's temporary, then under policy, we may not be in a position to change the child support amount because you'll have another job next month. But if it's something that's more long term, then you need to let the agency know and find out whether or not it's something that, according to policy, whether or not we can initiate a modification, and I'll just tell you most of the time we don't.
Yeah.
But if you need to initiate that, then go ahead, find out if it's something that we can do on our end, and if it's not, then now you know.
Yeah.
As a non-custodial parent, that this is something that I need to go back to court and change. This is, you need to go back to court and get it changed. And that's just, it's very important for me to emphasize that, because it's not something that you can do just by agreement with the custodial parent. Yeah. It is a good thing for non-custodial parents and the custodial parent to get along. That is great, and we do want the parents to get along, but understand that because child support is a judicial process, the agency has to respect the judge's order, and also the parents have to respect the judge's order, because the judge is also charged with doing what's in the best interest of the child. But then again, our ability to act fairly is dependent upon the party's provision of information with us, so that we can make fair decisions and issue and enforce fair orders.
You brought up the concept. It's commendable that the custodial parent and the non-custodial parent, if one of them loses a job and there's a change in financial situation, it's commendable that they're communicating and that they're getting along. But once, as you mentioned, once that order has been entered into the court record, we've seen this so many times, especially people on renewal, some of the outcomes if you get an arrearage. But so many people, they go to get a job or get a passport or do something to either remain meaningful employed or go on a vacation or renew some type of document.
Yes.
That arrearage really, because they haven't stayed in communication with us, comes back and bites them. Because if you get an arrearage, there's enforcement pieces that the agency must follow federally and in state law to do that. So quick, let's talk about, if you have an arrearage, how we stay on top of that.
Okay, so arrearage is unpaid child support, and there are some different. That's where the enforcement piece comes in, as I have mentioned in a previous conversation. Is child support enforcement. If the support is there, we don't get to the enforcement. But if the support lags behind or is not there, then we get to the enforcement piece. So there are some different tools that we have. One of those is license suspension, and that is where we suspend the non-custodial parent's driver's license until there is payment of a lump sum. Now, license suspension does not happen without notice. We're required to give notice in our policy, 90 days notice. So there's 3 months notice there. However, as I mentioned before, the relationship piece with the agency, if accurate address information is not communicated to us, then when we send the notice, it may go to address where the NCP no longer resides, and then it may feel like all of a sudden, oh, my license is just suspended, but we are required to provide that 3 months notice. So that's one tool. That's driver's licenses.
Yes.
However, we can also suspend some professional licenses. There's that. There's hunting and fishing licenses that can be suspended. We also have the authority to do a financial institution data match, and what that is we, in a nutshell, are able to garnish amounts from a non-custodial parent's bank account directly to pay towards child support arrearages, and so that is one tool, and then another tool that we have is that we are able to take child support amounts from workers' compensation settlements, as well as personal injury settlements. The law does have a provision that allows us to do that. And so there's just, and we do some intercepts. One intercept program is the income tax refund intercept. We can do that. So if a non-custodial parent owes child support, but he or she has received an income tax refund, then we can intercept that refund and put it towards back child support. So again, this is child support arrearages. If the child support payments are current, the intercept doesn't even happen. But if it's not current, then we have the authority to intercept, and that tax intercept program, it's required for us to do that. That's one of the federal regulations. We also intercept lottery winnings. So if a non-custodial parent owes child support and wins money in the state lottery, then we can intercept those as well for unpaid child support.
So those are the insurance settlements, and the lottery are actually fairly new enforcement tools that the agency has in the past couple of years.
I know that the lottery is fairly new. I think the insurance match provision has been around for some time. Now there are some states in which the insurance matching is mandatory. In Mississippi, it's not always, it's mandatory under certain circumstances. I don't want to get into the weeds. So I'll just leave it like that. But
essentially, if there's child support, I love how you frame that. If there's child support, enforcement isn't necessary because, again, it's a relationship that's ongoing for the benefit of the child.
That's right.
It's when there's an arrearage, unfortunately, someone either has willfully or unknowingly neglected their responsibility for child support. And it creates an environment where, again, the agency and the state is responsible under federal law to enforce the orders that are already there.
That's right.
And the important piece to know is staying in communication, keeping your address update, keeping your email address update, staying in communication as the non-custodial parent with the agency on your situation, and letting us know your circumstances, whatever it may be,
right?
That you're not caught off guard. But one of the things also, we don't want the enforcement piece to be punitive to the point at which it prevents someone from being in or remaining in the workforce.
Right.
And so the agency is kind of testing a new pilot program for non-custodial parents that may be in arrearage, so that we can, Mississippi, we've got record employment in Mississippi right now. It's a great thing, right?
Yes.
But what we want to do is make sure those Mississippians are staying employed, and we're finding ways to help non-custodial parents in the workforce or get in the workforce. And unfortunately, some of them may need to have a driver's license.
Okay.
And they need to use that for work, right?
That's right.
So there's some initiatives that your team is working on and piloting across the state.
Yes.
That really moving from some of the methods to recoup earnings to really finding a way to support the non-custodial parent in also meeting that obligation for arrearage. Let's talk about those programs.
That's right. So one of the things that we have been working on it's been in preparation for over a year. But we started the pilot in July of 2024. And this, we're calling it right now the Fatherhood Initiative. But I do want to stress that it's not just for fathers. It's for any non-custodial parent right now that was in the that has been in the pilot area. And what it is it's acknowledging that that there are some things we can do to help the process along of a non-custodial parent who may be having challenges meeting the child support payments, and we worked with the Mississippi Department of Employment Security to set up a program where we can refer non-custodial parents to a WIN Job Center to get employment assistance. In addition to employment assistance, if a father is enrolled, if a non-custodial parent is enrolled in the Fatherhood Initiative, what we do is if your license is suspended for non-payment of child support, we can reinstate that license without that non-custodial parent having to pay that lump sum that I mentioned. And the idea is for you to have access to that driver's license so that you can so that can help you in the process of getting a job. Now, if it's suspended for child support plus other reasons, we can't reinstate it, but we can take the child support hold off of it. And then also we work with a non-custodial parent on making sure that certain payments are made towards the court-ordered child support within a certain amount of time. And then we also monitor whether or not that non-custodial parent actually gets a job. So in order to successfully complete the program, and it's within a certain period of time, 60 to 90 days, depending on your circumstances, you will have your driver's license reinstated. You will have made certain payments toward your child support arrearage, and you will have a job. And then, in addition to that, as part of this program, we are committed to reviewing the income that you receive from the job to make sure that that child support amount in the current order, which, as I said, we have to enforce it until it changes, we take a look at it and see whether or not that order needs to be changed. It could be modified upwards if you're fortunate to have a job that pays higher income, or if you have a job but it doesn't pay as much as you received when the order was entered, then depending on policy, we could be in a position to move for a downward modification.
The one thing I've seen through this is, number one, the focus of the program, again, on the most important person, and it's the child.
Right.
Number two, it's encouraging communication, or even in many cases, maybe facilitating communication between the custodial parent and the non-custodial parent.
Yes.
It also encourages relationship between the state and both parent parties.
Right.
But it ultimately comes down to, even, I know it seems like in many cases that child support can be punitive.
Yes.
But the ultimate purpose is, many cases, to be supportive and redemptive. I mean, the case first, we always wanted to be supportive.
Right.
But then if things happen, circumstances change, the approach that your division I see taking on it is to be redemptive and do what we can to support both parents, both parties that are involved, again, in supporting the child.
The child.
And that's the beauty of child support, that when it's working as intended,
Yes.
and all parties fully engage in it appropriately, it really strengthens a family unit.
Yes.
No matter where the child is living, whether it's two parents, individual parents, blended families, it's there for the child.
Yes.
And that's some powerful work that your team does, and many times maybe it just goes a little unnoticed, or it's not recognized that it's a necessary work.
Yes, sir.
And we thank you for the work that your team does and the innovation that y'all are bringing into this. And so as we close out, anything else you want to share about child support enforcement, maybe what the future may hold, and final tips for any parents out there that are needing supportive child care, child support? Okay.
All right. Well, so a few things I want to mention. The child support program, the federal program of which Mississippi is a part, started in 1975, so we're looking at a 50-year anniversary this year.
That's right.
So there may be some things that you see about that as far as us raising awareness of that. And as far as where the program is headed towards the future, one of the things that I have learned about the child support program is that there's lots of room for innovation, and that different states are able to innovate in different ways, whether it be programmatic, whether it be electronic, whether it be outreach and doing outreach in different ways, those avenues are there. We are aware of that, have been aware of that. The state has been, as far as I can see, the state has come a long way in making child support innovations, and we plan to continue to do that. The Fatherhood Initiative is just one example. We are working with chancellors right now, those who are interested, to implement certain child support initiatives. One of those is in some counties. We believe we are going to be able to offer virtual hearings in cases that have been flagged for family violence, so that the custodial parent, if it's permissible in this county, in certain counties, will be able to attend the hearing virtually instead of having to be there in person. We're working on that now. We're also looking at expanding the Fatherhood Initiative. You heard me mention
Yes.
it as a pilot, and we are looking to expand that program. We are interviewing right now to hire more individuals to be able to handle the expansion, and we are in conversation with judges right now to see if we can accept referrals, not just self-referrals, which we've been doing in the pilot, but to get referrals within the judicial process. So we're looking into that as we speak. So there's, and then last year we did a good deal of outreach, community outreach, which is just being present at some different events in the community to answer questions and to provide the information education that allows people to actually make the most of what the child support program can offer. Because in Mississippi, the child support division is also houses access and visitation. Mm-hmm. And so the access and visitation program does just what it says, which is try to help the non-custodial parent to have access and visitation with the child that they are supporting in the child support program. So, so we're excited about changes that can be made. Of course, changes take time, and they are a process. So I don't want to shout changes that haven't happened to the rooftop. But that is part of the work of the division, is to maintain the operations as required by state and federal law, but then also to improve upon what's required to make the program the best it can be for that focal point of the program, which is the child's best interest.
It's some powerful work you're doing. And that's one thing you brought up, is also access and visitation. We don't want to leave it out there, that when a parent is making that investment in their child's life to yes. pay child support, there's something more powerful than financial yes. involvement, and that is personal involvement.
That's right.
That presence that a parent has in their child's life.
Yes, and so our access and visitation program, through that program we have a hotline that parents can call. You don't have to be a non-custodial parent. You can be a custodial parent mm-hmm. And call and be interested in the services. And so one of the services that we provide is non-therapeutic counseling, and what that is just need to talk to somebody about this child support thing and about how that's impacting either yourself or the child. But it's non-therapeutic. But apparently it's helpful because people call and maybe they just maybe they just need somebody to understand. Now, what that leads to is providing information about the program, and then you learn about some options. And so parent education is mm-hmm. another element of access and visitation. And by parent education, that means educating the parent about what's available in terms of obtaining visitation with your child. Now, we provide pro se legal forms to non-custodial parents that would like to pursue that visitation themselves, and and we also provide just some nuts and bolts information on how to complete the forms, and they can call and touch base, and we try to maintain. This is the relationship piece. We try to we try to mark the milestones with those non-custodial parents if they stay in touch with us. So that's also available, and and we are, as part of the program initiative, talking to chancellors to see certain chancellors, not necessarily all of them, but speaking with them to see what innovations and options might be available with respect to access and visitation as it relates to child support. So, but that program has been in existence for some time, and I'm glad that it has, and I'm glad that we're also revamping it, so to speak. We actually engaged with a consultant to have a close look at our access and visitation program and see where could we make improvements. So we actually went through that process at the end of 2024, and we're we're innovating it right now. So we hope to have even more visitation orders come out of some changes that we're making with respect to that program.
You guys are doing some powerful work, and I want to thank you for being part of 50 years of child support,
Yes.
not only in the U.S. but in Mississippi.
Yes,
and
sir.
so we will have some heightened awareness activities, and anything that Denise has mentioned here, we'll make sure that we also make those links accessible within descriptions and in the posts as well, so that you aren't having to search. But if you need it, mdhs.ms.gov, look for child support. Denise, thank you for the work your team is doing.
Thank you, Mark.